next one's up. We have this V6 Touareg for currently 325 bucks. Wouldn't that be a steal? Go away, California. No, no, come on. Don't do this to me. All right, sorry about that whining I heard in the background. We had one guy being a little attention slut. The car does run and drive. However, we are seeing some scary stuff on the dash, not to mention the check engine light and the APC light, the fact that it has zero gas, and this is the worst issue of them all, the RNDS lit up. If you're unfamiliar with Volkswagens and Audis, that's their way of telling you that there's an issue with their transmission. However, there is a common problem with the Touaregs. There's some wiring under the carpet, under the passenger and driver's seat, that sometimes gets corroded and throws a lot of faults. So we're gonna hope that's all that is, because this car only has 146,000 miles, and then obviously we have some front end damage. She ain't so pretty, that's for sure. We got the screen that's not working over there. The glove box does not stay closed. Okay, the window regulator does not work. You can see all kinds of tape on there. And we got two keys, which if you're not familiar with Copart, that is very rare. To come across two of these keys, that's awesome. We do have some scratches here. We have another one of these doors, so that's not an issue. This is probably gonna stay the way that is. This is the major issue. Hopefully the hatch fits with no issues. Bumper should be fine. However, my bumper does not have parking sensors as far as I remember. The hood. The paint here is bad, very bad. We are missing most of the clear coat, and some of the paint started peeling off too. And we've got a very similar situation, if not worse, up here on the roof. And then for some reason there's tape on this taillight. I'm not sure if that's been falling out and that's why they did it, probably. I was kind of afraid that this was from paint peeling, but it is not. And if any of you were actually paying attention when I was making the Copart bids, you would know that the damages on that Copart Touareg were front end, right? Well, what's that over there? It also came from Copart. It was delivered on the same day at 10:30 p.m. Like even later, which was ridiculous. I didn't know transporters work that late. Well, she's probably in rougher shape. Luckily, the paint work is better, probably because it came from Illinois. That one came from Kansas. A hotter climate, which is why the paint is probably struggling. We have some leaks. This looks a little wet over here. Don't know what that is yet. Definitely coming from the front end. Most likely from this cooler. I think this is power steering. Both headlights are damaged. Obviously hood, bumper. The bumper was actually attached to the car when it was at the auction. The bumper got fully removed when we were driving it off the trailer. We kind of had to push it off because it wasn't starting. So I didn't want to lose all that momentum, and we just kind of kept going. I don't think there was any way of saving this bumper anyway. This thing was pretty trashed as it is, and luckily we have a lot of parts, a lot of good parts that we're going to use to fix both of these Touaregs, and hopefully we're not going to have to buy any. Well, that's a lie. We're definitely going to have to buy headlights because we don't have headlights. But if you're new to the channel, let me show you what's inside. Welcome to what is known as Euros of A, which is my tiny dealership that I own and run by myself. And well, we've got quite a, you saw by the thumbnail and the name of the video, we got some Touaregs, right? So where do we start? And I'm gonna go over this really quickly because I know there's people who've been following my channel for a little while. You guys already know the story. But this here is my Touareg that I've owned for probably coming up on like 6 months now, and I had oil pressure issues that were inherited from the previous owner, and I didn't feel like dealing with that too much, so I ended up buying a parts Touareg from one of my subscribers that had a good motor. This guy right here is already put on the subframe from this car. We're basically ready to put this on. There's a leaky transmission line, that's why there's all that fluid on the ground, and there's two other issues that keep me from putting the motor in the car. First of all, there's a broken subframe bolt stuck inside of the frame right here. And secondly, we might have to buy a new drive shaft. Yeah, this really didn't work out. So my original drive shaft that came on the green Touareg had a messed up carrier bushing. So I figured, well, let me just put this one out of the parts car on. It has been replaced by the previous owners and it's in brand new condition. Problem is that this flange on the rear differential of the car, that's where it's mounted to, this piece is still stuck in the parts car. I have not been able to get it out, so I managed to get the drive shaft out by disassembling this basically. I mean, it kind of fell apart on its own. And because it was so stuck, I ended up hammering this piece of sheet metal here that covers up all the grease and holds it in there. Basically ruined this flange that came off of my car, and then this piece is obviously ruined. We do still have the other flange, and we could technically replace this with the one off of the old drive shaft. Again, this flange is still stuck in the parts car, and I've spent so much time trying to get that out that I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if I can physically do it. So long story short, we have this parts car that I don't want to have go to waste because it's got a decent amount of solid body panels on it, especially on this side. This is all looking pretty good. The other side does have some rust on the doors and stuff like that. Most importantly, right here we have a rear bumper that I already removed a few days ago once I bought that car. And we have this hatch that is fully unbolted, but I'm having a really tough time trying to get it out. I genuinely don't know what kind of dark magic you need to use to get this thing out of its holes. As you can see, this is completely unbolted. It's not touching anything. This hatch does move back and forth. The shocks, the little struts that hold it up are disconnected. The wiring is disconnected and hanging right here. But whatever kind of mechanism is inside of this for like the hinge and where the strut mounts to it, it does not want to come out of the holes in the unibody for it. My best guess is that there's some sort of a specific angle you need to take to try and get this out. But the problem is that this thing is really heavy, like definitely over 50 pounds. I want to say like maybe even 80. I'm pretty bad with estimating, so don't quote me on that, but I would have a really hard time taking this out by myself. So I'm waiting till I have somebody else to help me out, because we need two people trying to lift it up from two sides, and then one person kind of guiding it and figuring out what's stuck where. I don't know. I can't get this thing off. I tried for a pretty long amount of time. With this hatch and that rear bumper, we should have almost everything we need to fix that Touareg with the rear end damage that came from Kansas. Maybe if I find that some parts are in better shape than others, I'll just like swap, I don't know, fenders, doors and stuff like that. And hood, actually no, the hood is gonna be used on the front end damaged Touareg because that is a bigger issue than the peeling paint. And then of course we do have a front bumper that came with this parts car as well. And hopefully we're not gonna need this, but this is the entire front end of the parts car, radiator support, radiator coolers, stuff like that. So this is where we're probably gonna get that power steering fluid cooler from the front. The only thing I'm definitely going to need to buy is headlights for the front end damaged Touareg, because I don't have any. The parts car did not come with them. But subscribers, you guys seem to love the Touareg content. My most successful videos have to do with Touaregs or the Q7, which is kind of odd because I do a lot of cool stuff. I do a lot of cool cars like this twin turbo manual all-road, but somebody literally requested Touareg content on the video I made about this car, and I'm like, all right, well, perfect timing, because I'm literally in the process of getting two cars that are Touaregs for a total of 4 Touaregs in my ownership. I mean, this one is kind of half a Touareg, especially after we're done with it. All the parts are going to be gone. So let's take a closer look at the newest Touareg. And by newest, I mean the one that got delivered like 5 hours after the other Touareg. We are going to need to plug in a jump starter because as always with all Copart cars, they are completely dead when they get here. Like this thing is currently reading 2 volts. So this is what's been happening a lot. We've got the State Farm tracker. The fact that kind of a shame because this thing only has 146,000 miles. Yep, as expected, they had a sub somewhere in here and that was completely ripped out. And I'm assuming all this stuff is still connected to the battery and grounds and whatnot. Once again, completely cut with wire cutters. But we got one of these guys, bubble gum. The interior is in okay-ish shape. All the freaking black ice trees. And we got one of these guys. Again, probably not hooked up to anything. I don't even know how to open. I am kind of curious what's inside of this box. Looks like it was shipped to Copart, not like the delivery address is not the previous owner's address or anything. It doesn't seem to be heavy enough for the stock head unit. Oh, never mind, it's not stock. Interesting. Technically, this is good news. However, again, all these connections were cut. This could have been so easily avoided. Look,
Obviously, it's a little harder when it's in the car, but that's all it took to unplug it. Why did they have to cut it? Why was that necessary? People drive me nuts. But anyway, we got a little JVC unit here. At least we got something to install. And I guess I'll have to mess with this wiring. It's not too many wires, so I guess I shouldn't be too pissed. And they're all color-coded for the most part. So I guess I'll be able to fix this, hopefully without setting the car on fire. But still, super annoying. Super, super annoying. I imagine what happened was the previous owner of this car crashed it, and before insurance took it, he decided to rip out this stuff, some of the valuable things that he's put on. And then either the insurance or Copart had to reach out to him and be like, hey man, we're gonna need that back. Let's just take it one step at a time. First of all, I need to get the all-road out of here because this is where I'm planning on putting the Touareg. It's close to being drivable. The only issue I have with it right now is that the wheel shake, the vibrations are horrendous at anything over 50 miles an hour. You're not gonna see me working on this because this is a Touareg dedicated video, but you know, all right, we got the all-road moved. Now let's get that guy in there first. I think this repair is going to take longer, for one, because we're going to need headlights. Secondly, because it doesn't start. Thirdly, because the transmission is in limp mode. Yeah, so we're going to take a little break on this guy and focus on that because I think that repair is going to be easier. Why are you beeping at me? Come on, buddy, come on. You can do this. Come on. Why are you not starting? Okay, stay running. Come on, stay running. Please, 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 please. Come on, alternator. Give her some revs. Okay, let's see if she makes it all the way over there. She feels good. Feels healthy. Suspension feels good. Oh wait, actually I need to back this thing in.